Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. The dark secret behind why the galaxy's oldest species fears Earth. The galaxy was a vast, ever-expanding expanse of stars, planets, and civilizations. Among the many species that called this galaxy home, there was one race that had stood the test of time, an ancient race older than the stars themselves. They were the Elder, a species known for their wisdom, power, and mystery. For millennia, the Elder had watched over the galaxy, their influence felt in every corner of the universe. Yet, despite their strength and knowledge, there was one thing that terrified them more than anything else: Earth. Earth was a small, blue planet on the edge of the galaxy, insignificant compared to the grand civilizations that filled the stars. Yet the Elder avoided it with a fear that none could understand. Their ancient records told stories of Earth, but the details were vague, cryptic. No one knew why the Elder feared Earth so much, but the fear was real. The galaxy's oldest and most powerful species wouldn't even go near it, and that raised a dangerous question: what was so terrifying about Earth? The Galactic Council, made up of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, had always been puzzled by the Elder's avoidance of Earth. It made no sense. Earth had been a quiet, peaceful planet for centuries and had never been a threat to anyone. Yet every time the topic of Earth came up, the Elder would fall silent. There were no explanations, no reasons given, they simply refused to speak of it. The Council had long dismissed the rumors of the Elder's fear as superstition, but as time went on, the fear became harder to ignore. Other species in the galaxy began to whisper about the Elder's strange behavior. Why were they so afraid of Earth? Was there something the Elder knew that the rest of the galaxy didn't? To uncover the truth, the Council decided to take action. A special team, made up of the brightest minds from various races, was assembled. Their mission was to find out what the Elder were hiding. This team was tasked with investigating the mysterious absence of Earth in galactic affairs and uncovering the secret that had been buried for so long. As the team made their way to the Elder's ancient home world, they couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The Elder were known to be powerful, their technology far beyond anything the other species had. But it wasn't just their power that made the team nervous, it was the fear in the eyes of the Elder, a fear that had been passed down through generations, the fear of Earth. It was a fear that seemed to consume them, and the team was determined to uncover the reason why. Upon arrival, the team was escorted to the Elder's central archives, a place that contained the knowledge of millennia. The Elder had kept their records meticulously, and the team knew that somewhere in these vast archives was the truth. But finding it wouldn't be easy. The Elder had hidden their past well, carefully avoiding any mention of Earth. They had sealed away the most important records, making it almost impossible for anyone to uncover the truth. As the team sifted through ancient scrolls, holographic records, and digital files, the mystery deepened. The more they uncovered, the more questions arose. There were vague references to Earth, but they were always guarded and unclear. Some texts mentioned a catastrophic event that took place on Earth, but the details were missing. Others spoke of a power so immense, so dangerous, that it could destroy the galaxy itself. But what was this power, and why did the Elder go to such lengths to keep it a secret? The team's investigation took them deeper into the Elder archives, and with every passing hour, the fear they felt grew. They uncovered a document unlike any other, a map of the galaxy with Earth marked at its center. But it wasn't just the map that caught their attention, there were strange symbols around Earth, symbols that the team couldn't decipher. These symbols had been carefully etched into the map as if they were marking something important, something the Elder were terrified to reveal. Suddenly, one of the team members, a scientist from a distant star system, made a startling discovery. Hidden within the archives was an ancient recording, one that had been locked away for centuries. It was a message from the Elder's ancestors, a warning. The recording was cryptic, but it was clear that it had something to do with Earth. The message spoke of a great power that had been unleashed long ago, a power that had destroyed civilizations and caused the Elder to retreat. The message ended abruptly, leaving the team with more questions than answers. What had happened on Earth that had caused the Elder to retreat in fear? Was it some ancient weapon, or was it something else entirely? The team couldn't be sure, but they were certain of one thing: the Elder were hiding something, and that something was connected to Earth. The investigation was just beginning, but already the team could feel the weight of the mystery pressing down on them. They had only scratched the surface, and the truth was more elusive than they had ever imagined. As they left the archives, they couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy's darkest secret was waiting to be uncovered, a secret that would change everything. As the team prepared to continue their investigation, they couldn't help but wonder what could be so terrifying about Earth that even the galaxy's oldest species, the Elder, were willing to risk everything to keep it hidden. The answers were out there, waiting, and the galaxy would soon learn the truth, no matter the cost. The investigation had taken an unexpected turn. What the team had uncovered in the Elder archives was only the beginning of a mystery that could shatter everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. As they left the hidden chambers of the Elder's ancient library, their minds were racing with the implications of what they had found. Earth, a tiny, seemingly insignificant planet at the edge of the galaxy, held secrets that were older and more powerful than anything they could have imagined. The team was now faced with a difficult decision: should they continue digging deeper into the Elder's forbidden past, risking their lives to uncover the truth, or should they walk away and leave Earth's dark secret buried forever? But even as they weighed their options, one thing was clear: the Elder's fear of Earth was not based on some simple, isolated event. It was far more complex, far more dangerous. The Elder had always been known as the keepers of ancient knowledge, the protectors of the galaxy's most precious secrets. They had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, their wisdom unmatched by any other race. Yet, in all their long history, there was one event they never spoke of, a cataclysmic event that had sent them fleeing from Earth. The team now knew that this event, whatever it was, had left scars so deep that the Elder couldn't even bear to speak of it. As they pondered what to do next, a new lead surfaced. One of the team members, a linguist and historian from the Saloran species, had managed to decipher some of the strange symbols surrounding Earth on the Elder's ancient map. The symbols weren't just warnings, they were part of an elaborate set of instructions, a series of clues leading to something hidden on Earth itself. What was this hidden power that the Elder had tried to erase from their records, and why had they gone to such extreme lengths to keep it hidden? The team decided to follow the clues. They had no other choice but to venture to Earth, the very planet the Elder had feared for so long. As they prepared for their journey, they knew that the risks were enormous. The galaxy's most powerful species had stayed away from Earth for millennia. What would they find when they finally arrived? The journey to Earth was long and perilous. As the team made their way through the dark void of space, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into a trap. The Elder's cryptic messages and the fear they had seen in their eyes haunted them. The deeper they delved into the mystery, the more dangerous it became, and yet the pull of the unknown was too strong to resist. Upon arriving in Earth's star system, the team was struck by the planet's eerie quietness. It was as if Earth was waiting for them, a calm before the storm. No other ships were nearby, no signs of activity. The planet seemed abandoned, desolate. But the team knew that looks could be deceiving. Earth might appear peaceful on the surface, but they had uncovered enough to know that something dark and powerful lurked beneath. They descended into Earth's atmosphere, passing through the clouds and heading toward a remote, desolate area. The clues had led them to a hidden location, an ancient site, one that had been lost to time and hidden from the galaxy's eyes. As the team's shuttle touched down on the ground, they could feel the weight of history pressing down on them. The landscape was barren, a wasteland of twisted rock formations and ruined structures, but there was something more, something that couldn't be explained. The air felt thick with energy, a strange, almost palpable force that made the hairs on the back of their necks stand up. The team knew that they had found something important, something that had been hidden from the galaxy for far too long. They made their way toward a massive stone structure, partially buried beneath the rubble. The symbols they had deciphered earlier were carved into the stone, leading them to this very location. As they explored the structure, they found more clues, more symbols, more ancient writings. The deeper they went, the more they began to understand that the structure was not just a monument, it was a containment device, an ancient prison built to trap something powerful, something that the Elder had been running from. But what was inside? What had been locked away so long ago that even the Elder had feared it? The team continued their investigation, but the sense of danger grew stronger with every step. The deeper they delved, the more they realized that the secrets of Earth were not just dangerous, they were deadly. Whatever had been hidden on Earth, whatever the Elder had feared, was not a force that could be controlled. The team was on the verge of discovering the truth that had been buried for millennia, but as they moved deeper into the structure, they felt something stir within the walls. It was as if the very earth beneath their feet was alive, responding to their presence. The team froze, realizing that they were no longer alone. Something was awakening, something ancient, something powerful, and that was when the truth hit them. Earth's secret wasn't just a hidden power, it was a sleeping giant, one that had been waiting for the right moment to rise again. The fear of the Elder was justified. The galaxy had no idea what was about to be unleashed, and the team, now standing on the edge of a discovery that could change everything, had no choice but to push forward. The answers were close, but the danger was greater than ever. Would the team be able to uncover the truth before it was too late, or would they be swallowed by the very secret they had come to reveal? The deeper the team ventured into the structure, the more the air seemed to crackle with tension. The ancient stones, covered in centuries of dust, seemed to pulse with a quiet, menacing energy. Each step they took felt like it was bringing them closer to a truth they weren't sure they were ready to face. As they crossed the threshold of a massive chamber, the atmosphere thickened and the sense of danger grew sharper. The walls, etched with symbols that seemed to glow faintly, stretched upward to an unfathomable height. This was no ordinary structure, it was a vault, an ancient prison, a cage meant to contain something far more powerful than anything they had encountered before. The team stood at the heart of the chamber, their sensors and equipment buzzing with activity, but nothing could have prepared them for what they were about to uncover. There, in the center of the room, stood a stone pedestal, weathered by time but clearly once a place of significance. It was surrounded by strange energy fields, still active even after all these millennia. As they approached, one of the team members, a tech specialist from the Anik species, carefully scanned the pedestal with his tools, revealing an inscription hidden beneath the surface. It wasn't a language any of them recognized, but the markings seemed to resonate with a strange power. The Anik technician's eyes widened with realization as he translated the ancient symbols aloud. This is a seal, a warning, a binding. The team members exchanged uneasy glances. They had come expecting to uncover a hidden weapon, an artifact of unimaginable power, but what they were seeing now was something far darker, a seal designed not to protect, but to imprison. As the team continued to examine the pedestal, the temperature in the chamber began to rise. It was subtle at first, an uncomfortable warmth that spread through the air, but it grew quickly. The once still energy fields began to vibrate, emitting faint pulses of light in rhythm with an ancient, unspoken power. The ground beneath their feet seemed to shift, as though something below was waking up, something that had lain dormant for eons. Without warning, a low hum filled the chamber, resonating in the very bones of the team members. It was as if the room itself had come alive, reacting to their presence. The seal, the very one that had kept whatever was hidden in this ancient tomb contained, began to glow bright red. Hot lines of energy formed around the pedestal, as if some terrible force was trying to break free. Panic began to creep into the team, they were no longer in control. The ancient structure, once a silent tomb, had now become a living, breathing prison. The very air they were breathing seemed to change, becoming thick with anticipation. "What's happening?" one of the team members, a Sailoran scientist, whispered. This wasn't supposed to happen. "We must leave now." But it was too late. The ground trembled and the air grew heavier as an immense force began to stir beneath them. The stone walls cracked under the pressure, and the entire chamber began to shake violently. The team struggled to maintain their footing as the pedestal in the center began to tremble. Suddenly, with a deafening roar, the seal shattered. The energy that had been holding the ancient beast inside erupted in a blast of light, sending the team sprawling to the ground. A vast presence, a power like nothing they had ever felt, flooded the chamber. Standing before them, shrouded in a haze of dark energy, was something that defied description. An ancient and vast being emerged from the shattered pedestal. Its form was distorted, shifting between solid and ethereal, as though it existed outside of time itself. The very fabric of space seemed to warp and twist around it. The team stared in awe and terror as the creature's eyes, if they could be called eyes, focused on them. A deep, resonant voice, like the sound of 1,000 thunderclaps, echoed in their minds, "You have awakened me, fools." The word sent a chill down their spines. This was not a mere beast, it was something far more terrifying. It was the thing the Elder had been running from, the thing that had forced them to retreat from Earth and erase all traces of its existence from their records. This creature, one of the team members gasped as he backed away, "Why were you imprisoned?" The creature's presence seemed to grow even more oppressive, as though every inch of the chamber was suffocating under its weight. "Because I am beyond your comprehension. I am older than your stars, older than your races. You sealed me away not because I am evil, but because I am a force of nature, one that destroys everything in its path," it intoned. The words were cold, emotionless, but they resonated with an undeniable truth. The team realized then that they had made a grave mistake by uncovering this ancient prison. They had unleashed a force far greater than anything they could handle. The Elder had known the risks of releasing this entity, they had known what it was capable of, and they had spent millennia trying to keep it locked away. The team's curiosity, their desire to understand, had led them to this moment, but now the creature was free, and nothing could stop it. They realized that they were not just dealing with a physical entity, this creature was tied to Earth itself, bound to the very fabric of the planet's existence. The Elder had feared that if it ever awoke, it would wreak havoc across the galaxy, and they had been right. As the creature's presence grew stronger, the team understood that they had unleashed something that could tear the galaxy apart. The Elder's fear was not just based on a single event, it was about the terrifying power of what had been sealed away, and now the galaxy would feel its wrath. The creature, now fully awake, towered over them, its dark energy pulsing with a terrifying rhythm. It seemed to be studying them, taking in their every movement, every breath they took. The room filled with an eerie silence, broken only by the low hum of its presence. The team had no idea how to fight it, how to contain it, or even how to escape. Then the creature spoke again, its voice like a storm ripping through the very fabric of space, "You do not understand what you have unleashed." The words echoed in their minds, sending waves of dread through them. One of the team members, a veteran of many dangerous missions, tried to steady his shaking hands and asked, "What do you want?" The creature's form flickered, and a moment later it was no longer a vague shadow but a towering figure. Its features were dark and unreadable, its eyes, if they could be called eyes, glowed with an unnatural light, as if seeing everything and nothing at the same time. "What I want is simple, I want to be free." The words were chilling, not anger, but an ancient hunger that had been festering for millennia. It was clear that the creature had no interest in diplomacy or peaceful resolution, its only goal was to break free and to consume whatever was in its path. The team struggled to regain control of the situation, but they were out of their depth. The creature had lived for so long that it seemed to know everything, and the power it wielded was beyond any weapon they had. But one question kept echoing in their minds, why Earth? It wasn't lost on them that the creature had not once attacked them directly, nor had it shown any interest in any other species in the galaxy. Instead, its focus seemed to be entirely on Earth. Why Earth? The DeLorean scientist, who had been scanning the creature's energy patterns, asked in a trembling voice. The creature's eyes narrowed, and its voice grew softer but no less threatening, "Because Earth is my prison. It is the place where I was born and the place I was bound. The chains that held me were made from your species' greatest strength, and now the chains are gone." The revelation hit the team like a blast of cold air. The creature wasn't just some ancient being from another time, it was something far more insidious. Earth had been its prison, the planet itself holding the key to its chains. It was then that they understood why the Elder, the most ancient and powerful species in the galaxy, had been terrified of Earth. Not because of what it was now, but because of what it had once been. Earth was the birthplace of the creature, and it had the power to either seal it away or unleash it upon the galaxy. The Elder had sealed it away, knowing that its release would lead to nothing less than galactic devastation. The Elder feared this power, this creation of chaos. The creature's voice was like the sound of an approaching storm, the weight of its words making the ground tremble. They feared that if I were ever freed, I would destroy everything they had built, it continued. And they were right. The team stood in stunned silence, trying to process the gravity of what they were hearing. Earth wasn't just another planet in the galaxy, it was the birthplace of something far darker than any of them had realized. The creature had been locked away by the Elder because of the power Earth held, the very power that had the potential to destroy the galaxy. As the creature's form began to twist and shift, its energy expanding outward, the team realized the full extent of their mistake. The Elder had kept Earth hidden from the galaxy's other species for a reason. The planet was more dangerous than any of them had imagined, not because of its people or its history, but because of the ancient force buried beneath its surface. The creature looked at them with an expression of both pity and disdain. You are too late. The seal is broken. I will leave Earth and reclaim what was mine. It paused for a moment before adding, and when I do, the galaxy will tremble. A deafening roar erupted from the creature, and the air crackled with violent energy. The room shook once again as the creature's form expanded, causing the walls to crumble and the ground to crack. It was clear that it was no longer interested in staying contained within the vault, it had a singular purpose now, to break free of the planet that had held it for so long. The team scrambled to escape, their minds racing with a singular thought: Earth was the key to everything, and now that the creature was free, they had to warn the galaxy. But as they fled the ancient structure, the realization set in, there was no escaping this. The creature would reach Earth, and nothing could stop it. The galaxy had no idea what it was about to face, and as the first cracks appeared in the structure around them, the team knew one thing for certain: what had been buried on Earth was far more terrifying than anyone had ever feared. The creature had been a prisoner for a reason, and the galaxy was about to learn why. The team barely escaped the collapsing structure, their adrenaline fueling their every move as they ran. The ground continued to tremble beneath their feet, as if the planet itself was beginning to shake off an ancient burden. The creature had broken free, and the world around them was changing. They could feel it deep in their bones: Earth was no longer the planet it once was. Its very atmosphere seemed to hum with energy, pulsing with something far older, far darker than anything they had ever encountered. The team found shelter in an abandoned facility outside the city. They were safe for now, but they knew that safety was fleeting. The creature, once imprisoned deep within the planet, was now free to roam. Its mission was clear: to return to Earth and reclaim the power that had been taken from it, and with it, it would bring devastation. The leader of the team, Commander Thylia, was trying to make sense of everything. She paced back and forth, her mind racing with 1,000 questions. The Elder had hidden Earth for a reason, they had sealed the creature away because of the unimaginable danger it posed. But why? Why had Earth been the birthplace of such an ancient, terrible being? Her thoughts were interrupted when one of the scientists, Rio, spoke up. "Commander, we've been tracking the creature's energy signature," he said, his voice filled with concern. "It's heading straight for Earth. Whatever it's going to do, it's doing it now, and I don't think we can stop it." Thylia clenched her fists. She had known this moment was coming. It had always been the Elder's fear: Earth was the birthplace of the creature, and if it were ever freed, the galaxy would face its wrath. Now that the seal was broken, the creature's power was growing stronger by the minute, and the galaxy was helpless to stop it. "What's our next move?" Thylia asked, her voice steady despite the rising panic within her. "We need to get to Earth before it does." Rillo answered in a grim tone, "If we can't stop it, we can at least warn the galaxy and try to evacuate the planet." Philia nodded, but she knew it was a feeble hope. The galaxy was too vast, and Earth was too important to risk losing. The creature had been sealed away for so long, and now it was free, its fury would be unstoppable. The team made their way to a nearby transport ship, their mission clear: get to Earth and stop the creature before it could reach its full power. But as they traveled through the stars, Philia couldn't shake the feeling that they were too late. As they approached Earth's atmosphere, they saw the first signs of the creature's influence. The skies were dark, the clouds swirling with unnatural energy, the ground was cracked, and the cities that once stood proudly were now reduced to rubble. It was as if the planet was undergoing a transformation, a change that none of them could comprehend. The team landed on the outskirts of what was once the capital city. The air was thick with tension, and the silence was suffocating. As they ventured further into the city, they saw the destruction that had already been wrought. Buildings lay in ruins, streets were empty, and the once thriving population was nowhere to be found. "Where is everyone?" Rio whispered, fear creeping into his voice. Philia didn't have an answer. The planet was unrecognizable, as if the very fabric of reality was being warped by the creature's presence. Suddenly, a crackling sound filled the air, a low hum, almost like a growl, resonated through the ground beneath their feet. "It's here," Philia said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We need to move now." The team pressed forward, the hum of the creature growing louder with each step. It was only a matter of time before they would come face to face with it. The realization settled heavily on Philia's shoulders: the creature wasn't just coming for Earth, it was coming for everything. As they reached the heart of the city, they saw a massive figure standing in the distance, silhouetted against the dark sky. The creature's energy was palpable, radiating out in waves that distorted the very air around it. The team stood frozen, their gazes fixed on the being that had once been trapped beneath Earth's surface. The creature turned its head slowly, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. It seemed to sense their presence, and a chilling smile stretched across its dark form. "You're too late," its voice echoed in their minds, both mocking and triumphant. "The world is mine now. There is nothing you can do to stop it." The team braced themselves for the inevitable confrontation, but even as they prepared for battle, one question hung in the air: what could they possibly do against an entity that had been sealed away for so long? What hope did they have of defeating something so ancient, so powerful? As the creature began to move, the ground trembled beneath them, its power surged, and the very air crackled with energy. Philia knew that this was it, the moment that would decide the fate of Earth and the galaxy. The creature took another step forward, its dark energy intensifying. It was unstoppable, and as it raised its hand to unleash its fury, Philia realized the terrible truth: Earth's darkest secret wasn't just a creature, it was a force of nature, one that no one could control. Now, the galaxy would feel the full extent of its wrath. The creature towered above them, its presence almost overwhelming. The air was thick with a strange, oppressive energy that made it difficult to breathe. The ground beneath their feet seemed to pulse, as if the planet itself were alive with anticipation. Philia's team stood ready, their weapons in hand, but deep down they knew they were facing something beyond their understanding, something that even the Elder had feared for millennia. "Prepare yourselves," Philia said, her voice steady despite the rising fear within her. "This is what we've been sent here to stop. We can't let it win." Rillo, the scientist, looked at her with wide eyes. "Commander, it's not just a creature, it's an ancient force. The Elder didn't just seal it away for its power, they were afraid of what it could do to the fabric of reality itself." Philia nodded grimly, she had already come to that conclusion. The creature wasn't just powerful, it was capable of rewriting the laws of nature, of bending space and time to its will. If it were allowed to roam freely, there would be no stopping it. The galaxy itself could be torn apart. The creature lifted its hand, and the ground beneath them cracked open. A surge of dark energy erupted from the depths of the planet, swirling around the team in a vortex of destruction. Thilia's team fought to keep their footing, their weapons useless against the creature's overwhelming power. Every shot they fired dissipated before it even reached its target. "This isn't working," Rio shouted, panic creeping into his voice. "We can't stop it with weapons." Thilia clenched her fists. She had known that force alone wouldn't be enough. Their only chance was to understand the creature's weakness, something that had remained hidden for millennia, and for that, they would need to uncover the secrets of Earth itself. "Focus on the energy signature," she ordered. "The creature is tied to the planet's core. If we can disrupt that connection, we may be able to weaken it." The team rushed forward, navigating through the swirling chaos. The air seemed to warp around them, and strange, unfamiliar sounds filled the void, as if they were walking through a nightmare. Nothing felt real, yet they pressed on, determined to find the creature's weakness. Suddenly, the creature turned its glowing eyes toward them. It snarled, and a burst of dark energy shot out from its body, sending the team flying back. They crashed to the ground, their bodies aching from the impact. Thilia pushed herself up, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Her eyes were fixed on the creature, and she knew that this was the final confrontation. There was no turning back. "You cannot defeat me," the creature boomed, its voice echoing through their minds. "You are nothing but insects to me." Faya gritted her teeth. "We're not here to defeat you, we're here to stop you." She reached into her pack and pulled out a small device, an ancient artifact that had been given to her by the Elder before she left their world. It was their last hope, a relic that could disrupt the creature's connection to the planet's core. But activating it wasn't going to be easy. Rio and the others watched as Faya activated the device. The air around them shimmered with energy. The creature let out an ear-splitting roar, realizing what she was trying to do, and began to move toward her, its massive form shaking the ground with every step. "No," the creature screamed, its voice filled with rage. "You cannot undo what has been done. Earth is mine."